I'm Pastor Michael Rogers from Greenville Christian Church, and I'm really excited because the last time that we did a video for you, what we were talking about is what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years as we start working out the plan that God has given us, the mission, the vision God has given us to gather together, to pursue God, and to love people. But today what I want to do is talk about where we are now and how we're moving forward. In order to do that, I've got to show you how we've been standing on the shoulders of everything Greenville has done in the past. One of the things that we did some time ago was, as a church, we decided that we would eventually like to move out a little further west on 150 to a place called The Ranch. Now, The Ranch was 37 acres of property, and the idea of The Ranch was that we would be able to build a large complex there that allowed us to do the kind of ministry we always wanted to do. The thing is, over time, as I became the pastor and as we started talking about it, we realized we really wanted to be the hub of a community. So rather than creating a community there, what we decided to do was deal with being here and making sure that we're doing the right things here. So what we eventually decided was to sell the ranch, which was a blessing because it gave us a bunch of money that we were able to do. We took 10% of that, started giving out to missions all over the place: Liberia, France, the Philippines, even here around in this area. And so we funded a lot of different things that were going on there. We took the rest of the money and we started realizing if we're going to be the hub of the community here, then we've got to have a place that does the kind of ministry we wanted to do. So we took that money and we started doing renovations. So what you saw in the last video were the renovations that we had been doing. So we revamped the foyer, we redid the sanctuary, we redid the fellowship hall, and downstairs we did a lot of new work, got new sound equipment, got new keyboard, a lot of different things like that. And for the teenagers next door, we had some extra sound equipment and different things set in so that we could do the kind of ministry we felt like God was doing, because our intention was always to make sure that we are doing what we can to reach the community. So as we're looking at how to reach the community and really make our mark, we wanted to start doing more outreach. So we invented some ideas on way we could do that. One of them is the back to school closet, and so we're selling for $1 a piece gently used clothing where people who maybe can't afford to go out and get a whole new wardrobe for their kids for school can come in and they can get 5 outfits a piece for each of their kids and maybe spend $10, $15, $20 and make that easier for them to go to school with pride. So we did that. We did trunk or treat and allowed people to come and have a safe place for their kids to do trick or treating. And we've done a concert that allows us to gather up food for the local food pantry. And we've been supporting a lot of other ministries. And we've slowly been working out into the community. As we did that, we also realized there were some things that we had to do on the inside. So one of the things we did was we refixed our structure and we figured out how we make decisions and what we do. What we were basically trying to do is reinvent ourselves. And as we did, we started realizing who we were. We're a mentoring church of teams for families. We believe in the 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-to-3 opportunities to help disciples learn how to be disciples who make disciples. And as we did that, we discovered this great concept done by the Rethink group called Orange. And that's where the light, the yellow of the church, and the red, the love of the family, come together to make Orange. And so we teach our parents how to be the first ministers of their kids, and we try to make it a family environment. And when I say family, I'm not necessarily just talking about your normal mom and dad and 2.2 kids. Whatever family means to you, what we want to do is be family with you. So we're gathering together, pursuing God, and loving people. And as we reinvented ourselves, what we found was this opportunity for us to renew our commitment, a covenant with God, to actually see what it means for us to do the kind of ministry that God is really asking us to do. So we had this great conference that we went to where we learned about a book by Andy Stanley called Deep and Wide, and we started listening to that and sharing with that and figuring out how that really fit inside of our philosophy, that we wanted to do church for the unchurched, for the unreached and the unconvinced, those people who maybe they love Jesus, but they haven't had very good experiences with the church. or also people who haven't had any experience with the church. And a win for us is if somebody comes to our gathering on Sunday morning and they like it so much they want to bring somebody else. But at the same time, we're making sure that we stay true to our biblical doctrine, we stay true to the teaching of Jesus Christ, and we hold him up as the only one whereby we can be saved. And so as we are renewing that commitment to do that kind of ministry, we have been so excited about what has come from it. And what we've learned is that we as a church, we're suddenly being able to reflect out into the community who we are. So everything that we do helps to reflect who we are. In the middle of doing all of that, what we have learned is that we attract a certain kind of people. There are certain kind of people who are interested in who we are and what we're doing. And what we want to do is broaden that and make sure that we're attracting everyone we can. We want to be open to those who are of middle class and those who are upper middle class. But we also want to reach those who are struggling and having a hard time meeting their bills week to week. How can we do ministry to all of them? How can we open up ministry where we are creating unity and family events, but we're also creating opportunities for people to take pride in their lives and to understand how much God loves them. So as we reflect who we are and as we become who we are becoming, we start realizing that a way for us to let the whole world know what's happening is to have a rebirth. And what we want to do now is start figuring out how we can reach the community, having reinvented ourselves, renew that commitment to do ministry for everyone and reflect who we are. And that rebirth, it's kind of hard. You go by our church, and on the outside, we have a very traditional look. On the inside, it's very modern. And we wanted to make sure that people looking at us from the outside could see some of the things that were happening here on the inside that have to do with ministry and just finding ways to reach people for Jesus. So what we wanted to do was find a way to do a rebirth, and we're excited. We're going to do this August 30th. We're going to call it Day 1. And in order to do that, we went to our congregation. If you remember in our last video, one of the things we realized was that we may need a new name. Well, the elders and the leadership panel and the staff have all gotten together, and we realized we found a new name that reflects who we have become. And that is Refuge Christian Church. And we're excited about that because Refuge has so many good things about it. First off, it's very scriptural. Psalms 46 is the one where you know of as be still and know that I am God. But it starts out, God is my strength and my refuge. Psalm 91 is all about being in times of trouble and God being our refuge, needing salvation and God is our refuge. And so it reflects who He is and who we want to be. Because what we want to do is become a refuge for all the people in our area, in our community, and all the outlying communities. We want to make sure everyone has a chance to be comfortable coming and finding out who can be their refuge in all times of need. This is a really clear name. It was a clear favorite with the leadership panel. It was also very clear in its meaning, but it's heavy. If we say we are refuge, then we better be a refuge. But it's honest too. It's just who we want to be. And so it creates some accountability for us and helps us to remember who we are. It's cross-generational. We're not the refuge. We're not trying to be young and hip. We're trying to be a refuge for any and all ages across all walks of life. And it's also transferable. We realized that as we were looking at Greenville Christian Church, we had Greenville Christian Church. We had a great symbol for that. And then we also had this great, actually I got the symbol right here. Here you go. We also had these great groups, but we called the family ministry Beginnings and Journey, and we called the teens Merge. And we had all these different names for different things. And we realized that Refuge is a name that can transfer across all of those ministries. So we can have refuge men, refuge women, refuge groups, refuge teens, refuge kids. And in that way, you kind of get an idea that we are all part of the same vision. And make no mistake, the same vision that we all have is to gather together and pursue God with all that we have, introducing as many people to Christ as we can, as we love them the way Jesus would love them. And our hope is that you would get just excited as we are about what's going to happen on August 30th. Tune in, watch for what's going to happen next.